Welcome back to another episode of the Erickson Brothers Podcast, where we discuss the questions we do not know the answers to and the possible returns of life's investments. A couple topics we mentioned here on this podcast are our faith, family, fitness, and fun, and of course, finances as well, as we are both businessmen. And I'm excited to be your co host today. My name is Jeff, and I'm here with my older brother, Matt. Matt, how's your day going so far?
It's doing well. It's been a little bit since we've done a podcast, so there's been a lot of things going on in our lives, which is good, but good to be back talking today.
Yeah, back in a little routine of everything. What we do last weekend? You wanna give our friendly fans a quick update?
Well, last weekend we were both in Colorado for different reasons. Jeff was there for one of his friend's bachelor parties, and I was there because I was traveling for work the week earlier, so I figured I might as well stop by Colorado on my way back to New York. So we met up on Thursday. We went to a concert at Red Rocks, which was, I'm thinking, maybe top 10 experiences of my life. For sure in the top 20, I think, just how cool it was.
It was sick.
Friday night, we went to a Rockies game, which was good. They lost in the most Rockies fashion ever. And then you were, I didn't see you Saturday. Sunday, you came back. We both ran a 10K race on Monday morning. So I'm sure we can talk about that as well, what our experiences were, and then we both flew back Tuesday. So we were both in Colorado last week, and yeah, now back in our respective coasts. So
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
mhm,
great update. It was a fun
mhm.
weekend though. It was a great time, and it's not really something I do too frequently. Is just kind of going out Friday night and Saturday night, and then also being able to spend Sunday. We went to the lake as well. One of our buddies has a pass to the lake, and we were paddle boarding, and we hung out, and the weather was beautiful. So, yeah, it was a good time to be back with the rents and everything. Um, Cool. And you back in the swing of it, back in New York City?
Yeah, I'm back in New York. Short week last week. Gonna I'm traveling Monday, Tuesday for a lender presentation, and then yeah, just a full week ahead. But my guess is it will feel short because I'll be gone Monday, Tuesday. Uh, but then
Cool.
again, it's gonna be a lot of energy traveling, so who knows? It could feel like a really long week, but
Yeah, cool.
that that's the
And
plan.
I'm off Thursday and Friday for another bachelor party. Just going back to back almost, it feels like. But I got another college baseball buddy that's getting married and going out to Wisconsin Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night for that. And I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good. And it's good to kind of invest in your relationships and invest in doing things for other people. And I would want them to take time out of their work to come on my bachelor party if that was the same case, like if the roles were switched. So that's kind of how I was looking at it.
It also, though, it's you don't need to think of it as an investment or what you can get out of it. Maybe just think of it as you're celebrating uh your friendship with this person. You're celebrating a big moment in their life, and you're spending time with one another. So
Mhm.
that's that. I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun. So
Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
One thing I actually heard in regards to friendships, I heard it on a podcast and it said your friends should be people that share a common future with you, not people that share a common past.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, dang. I was like, I definitely can see why that's a thing. Cause like for the majority of people, they are just friends with their high school buddies or their college buddies because they had similarities or because they have a lot of shared experiences in the past together. And they're just kind of like you have your same friend group and you never leave that friend group. And that's again for most people. And I think that our friends should be people that also have goals and also have aspirations and also are going the places we want to go to. So sharing a common future. And that's kind of helped me kind of reframe who I want to be able to spend time with and who I want to be able to pour my time and energy into, and like whose opinions I should value.
Okay. Okay. That yeah. I think too that sometimes the friends I'm friends with now, and the reason why we share a common past is why we share a past is because in the past we shared a common future, uh, whether that be aligning. A lot of my friends currently they cared about sports, cared about academics, cared about uh, their their work, and now that led me to meet them at Yale, or led me to be in the same classes with them in high school, and now they're the friends I'm friends with now. We have the future that we had thought of in the past,
Yeah.
and now we're continuing to build on that, and we still care about our work, we still care about being active, and some of the goals have changed, but I think that the temperament of a lot of my friends is very similar, and just ambitious in all facets of life. So uh, I think that yeah, the who knows what the future will hold, but I think being around people that are wanting to do great things and have big goals, whether you're aligned with them perfectly or not, I think that's important.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting too. It's like you're friends with them because in the past you shared a common future. Um, but yeah, what do you think about that in terms of like evaluating current relationships and like almost evaluating um if like I don't want to have like transactional friends. Like I don't want to look at my friends as like what I can get out of them, but it's almost like what value do I have in their relationship and like what value do they have in my relationship? Right. I think that is like I think part of us should be looking at um how we can value from each other, you know? So like how would you say you go about viewing that perspective of your current relationships?
I think that the current relationships I have, they um the value I don't know, that's hard to why I'm friends with the people I'm friends with is because I enjoy hanging out with them, and their mindsets are similar to mine. So
Mm.
the value I get is enjoyment of just being around one another, but also being in similar jobs, and we have those shared experiences from our past and our present, and there's value in just doing life together and having people that you can lean on and talk to, and just enjoy life together, and the the value is immeasurable. I the past 2-3 weeks I've been very aware of how grateful I am for the people in my life and the opportunities I have. And I think it's it, the value I get out of that. It's amazing just the enjoyment I have from hanging out with, hanging out with friends or going to lift or going to play basketball or going to dinner. And the uh it's the life I currently have is very it's just it's I just enjoy it. I'm very grateful for it. And a big part of the reason why I'm so grateful for it is because of the people in my life. So yeah, that's the value I get out of it.
Do you think when you're in any interaction with somebody that like it really just boils down to like the behavior that you're doing, either getting punished or getting reinforced? For example, like lifting with friends, right? If you look at that as a behavior, that's getting reinforced if your friends are doing that activity with you. You think of like going out to the bars with your friends, like if your friends are doing that, that's getting reinforced. But like then if your friends aren't doing it, they're almost punishing your behavior because they're not doing something that you're doing. So do you think there's do you think that has any truth to it?
I don't know if there's a I don't see it as a reward or a punishment type thing. I see it as like there are friends that I run with, there are friends that I play basketball with. I now have a like set of work friends, and the behaviors that I have lead me to the certain friends I have. So there's not uh the I think the behaviors are set and the friends come along and
Mm.
they mirror the behavior.
Oh, so
Uh, so
you
I
don't
think I like when it comes to lifting, like I usually most of the time I lift by myself, but there are times when I lift with my friends. So like that's I'm not changing my lifting based on my friends. Same thing with church. Like I'm gonna go to church every Sunday, and most of the time I'm going with two or three people. And if they are out of town or they don't go, I'm still gonna go. So my uh or for example, like last night I had this reservation at this very cool cocktail bar. They had different uh tequilas and whiskeys and gins along the entire walls. It was just like a bookshelf, and instead of books there were just uh bottles of alcohol, and instead of uh and there's probably like 15 to 20 bottles on each shelf, and then there's probably 6 7 rows of shelves, and I don't know 25 uh different shelves. So that was just a cool thing. And but the it was something I wanted to experience, so I asked the people in my life if they wanted to come. I knew I was going to go, but I made the reservation with the thought that, oh, somebody can I'm going to invite people later on, but I this is the thing I want to do, and whoever wants to join me in it can. So that's uh that's kind of how I see it. It's not I'm not as easily influenced by like what my friends are doing. I think my behaviors are pretty set, and then if it's the people who join me, that's the part that the that's the following part. It's not that I have these friends and I do what they do. It's I do what I do, and it's whoever wants to come along with me.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense.
Hmm.
Sweet,
Yeah.
sweet,
So,
sweet.
what about you?
In regards to the same topic,
Yeah, like I guess you're talking a lot about uh value or punishment and reward. What do
I
you think?
definitely think I definitely think that the people I want to surround myself with should have a value in my life, whether that is like a value of they support me in my goals, or they challenge me to think a different way, or they hold me accountable for stuff. Um, so I think friends should have some sort of value, right? You know, if you surround yourself, if you surround yourself with four broke people, you're generally going to be the fifth, right? So it's like you're some of the five people you surround yourself with. So through looking at it through that lens, like I want to make sure that when I'm in a group of people, that I'm not that I'm gonna be the dumbest one there, or I'm gonna be the brokest one there, or I have something that I'm actually trying to, like I have qualities in my friends, or that my friends have qualities that I want, so to speak. So I think there's, I don't know, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way, but I do think there should be value in friendships. Um,
There's always value in friendships. It's uh that's why you're friends with these people. I think
hmm,
like if there was no value, then you wouldn't be friends with them. It's just like what the value is.
right. Well, I think
Like,
some people are just friends with people, kind of like what we were mentioning earlier. Some people just keep their same friend group just because they share a common past with them. But in terms of actually having value in their life, it's not really getting them anywhere, and it's not really helping them out. Like with,
well, it could be the friends that they have could be adding that it could be adding value in terms of the experiences, the memories they share, the it is like the value in like common backgrounds and common histories uh and that's the value it is like just because you can't quantify
hmm,
the value doesn't mean there isn't value. um
that's fair.
I think that there's uh it does matter that you did go to college and you did make all these friends and blah blah. It fill in the blank with whatever background you want to say. Like you have friends to have friends. That's the value that
Hmm.
you're doing life together. Um, and it's uh, there's going to be times when you need help from them or they need help from you, and that's that's the value. And I think that that's kind of how I see it. I don't really look at it through a uh, projected projected income standpoint of
Hmm.
what's the discounted cash flow of this opportunity with this individual.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So jumping into topic number two,
Mm.
one thing I wanted to talk about today is the whole concept of.
Day is
Yeah,
the
can you
whole
hear me
concept
all right?
of. Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Is there an echo at all, or are we good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay.
I'm good.
Okay, cool. We'll just continue.
In my little picture it's like
Say that again.
in my picture in picture there's a delay.
Of like my audio compared to my video.
Oh, of my video. of my picture in picture.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. But okay. That's what I'm seeing as well. I know you just keep going and I bet it'll figure itself out.
Mhm.
Anyway, for the second topic today, I wanted to talk about the whole concept of infinite games and finite games. And we were chatting about this a little bit over Instagram DMs as I sent you a post um, in regards to how business is an infinite game. And what is your whole take on that? How do you view infinite games compared to finite games, and kind of explain that whole concept of it?
Yeah. So the first time I heard about this process, this whole thing, was a book I read. It was either called Infinite Games or Infinite versus Finite Games. I read the first four chapters and it was getting pretty repetitive, so I was like, okay, I get the idea. There wasn't really anything new introduced after the first chapter. So the idea I got from it was that in in life, in sports, there's these finite wins and losses, finite games with starts and ends. As you could imagine, that's uh, your your sports games, um, closing a deal, buying a house, things with very rigid endpoints, and you can point to those um, events and saying like, oh, okay, like we completed this transaction, boom, finite game. Where if it's a deal, we made this much money on this deal, and it's closed, finite game. And the infinite game is it's the game outside the game. So if we want to continue with this, it's like, okay, so if you do a uh if we're talking about, if you close a real estate deal on a 8 unit apartment complex, but uh you screw the real estate agent out of his $100,000, you might have closed that apartment complex, but the next time he sees a deal or he comes across something, he's not going to involve you in it because he knows he got screwed by you down that road. So you might have won that finite game, but you are losing the infinite game because you didn't put any value into the broader horizon of potential deals or opportunities down the road.
Mhm.
So if we like want to continue with friendships, and like I'll continue on this, like if uh you might like the finite game from friendship or something like that is if you're playing uh pickup basketball or anything, just anything in life, you might take the advantage in that one situation, and you might win that pickup basketball game, or you might be able to get yourself a free dinner because he put down his card and he never asked to Venmo you, like that kind of thing. Like like you could consider that like a finite game, like, oh, I got a free dinner. But the infinite game is, oh, I am losing out on this friendship. I'm losing out on more opportunities to spend time with this person, and uh the the implications of that. So in general, the mindset that I got from this is just knowing, like picking your battles and knowing what a win is, and what
Mhm.
how to keep a appropriate mindset with respect to the timeline of your life, and not just the timeline of a singular transaction. So uh, uh, it it makes sense in businesses where we have clients and we close deals. That's very broad, but clients oftentimes come back for multiple deals, and you want to keep that relationship going. You want to win that infinite game, and that infinite game may not be just you and the client. It could be you with the client, and you could see the client brings in other clients. It could be the infinite game can be how your employees see how you treated people. The infinite game can be the benefits you brought to the service from your product, your service, or helping with the client's product or service. So uh, it's just keeping an appropriate mindset of what's relevant in the situation and also outside of the situation. So
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a great explanation. The first time I heard it is compared to like fitness, and the person that was describing it was like, with fitness, like the goal isn't to do one workout or to get in shape once. Like the goal is to stay in shape,
yep.
right? Same thing with business. Like the goal of business isn't to achieve something specifically. The goal is to stay in business. And one quote I heard from Alex Hermosi in regards to this is that the best entrepreneurs, I actually have it pulled up on my phone, the best entrepreneurs don't do business to make money. They make money to do business, right? Because like that's the whole concept of the infinite game. And like the goal is to do it for as long as possible, right? The goal is to stay in shape, right? The goal is to have a strong relationship with your family. The goal is to have a good connection with um, your creator, right? Your God. The goal isn't just like this one time thing. So um, that's one like mindset shift that I've really adopted recently, as in like the last couple weeks, because it's kind of helped me realize that like just because I'm not like I'm successful because like just to the very fact that I am chasing my goals and that I am achieving the things that I want to be able to achieve, and that my business is still in business, and that my fitness is good, and like like I'm successful just because I'm in the whole process of it.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Well, the um what was it? There's this coach. I read his book called the it's his book is called The Pyramid of Success,
John
and
Boy.
John Wooden, yeah. So John Wooden, his whole thing is like success is knowing that you did all that you can to prepare. And uh, a lot of successful coaches, leaders that I've talked to, they all talk about process. They all talk about controlling the things that you can control. And I think that's also part of the infinite game is knowing the importance of having your focus on things that you can control, and also being able to recognize some of the implications of uh, the minute details, but also the big picture. So, and Tim Grover has also talked about this because he says when he trains his athletes, the games are very finite. Like the rules are very clear. There's a start, there's a stop, there's referees. It's very easy to coach players. But Tim Grover most recent in his more recent years, he started talking to businessmen, and he's said that there's no rules in business. There's no end, there's no shot clock, there's
Mm,
no referee, there's nobody on the other side wearing a jersey. It's just that's the infinite game is business, and how much harder it is to prepare people for a game with no rules and no end, no stop. And uh he never, I don't think he might mention infinite in his in his terminology, but the crossover in mindset here between infinite versus finite games and Tim Grover is very similar. And uh that's the that's the infinite game. Like I was having lunch with a management a member of a management team for this company, and right now they're not doing well. He's recently uh, came in and trying to turn the company around, and his the finite game for him would be cash flow month one, cash flow month two, but the infinite game for him is showing his employees, okay, this is what we're doing, this is why we do the things that we do, here's the process, here's why we're keeping it this way, here's what we're changing, this is the simplicity of it, and just knowing how important process is. That's the infinite game, knowing that the cash flow and the monetary value will come down the road, but it's important to win those infinite games or pay attention to the factors in those infinite games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool concept for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Sweet. So number 3, what you got?
I think we can uh talk a little bit more about the running race we did, and your reflections from it, and if you were happy with your time, with your preparation, what you learned. Are you going to do another 10K, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So my average time was 8 minutes and 50 seconds per mile. For the
Seconds per mile
6.1 miles.
for the
Yeah, so not, I would say good, not great in terms of the time, but I was impressed. I mean, like for what I trained for and um everything I was hoping for, I wanted to do an under 9 minute mile, and I wanted to challenge myself to perform at the best of my abilities, and I think that's those two things are both accomplished. And yeah, it was fun. I had a good time. I was like those bigger kind of races, and um, it's just a good challenge. What about you?
good. I went into it not knowing how my training would translate, um with with just running at sea level. So I knew that going from sea level to elevation would be a challenge. And so I finished it in 45:28, which is 7:22 pace for the 6.2 miles, which I was pretty happy with. Um, I think a ultimate goal would be to do it under 40. So maybe next year or 2 years, or just any other 10K, do that under 40, which would be around 640, 650 miles, I believe. So, um,
The
yeah.
cra- the craziest thing I saw with the 10K is like, especially with the Boulder Boulder that we just did. There's like a slight little hill at the end. Like it's not big. It's like literally just like a tiny little hill going up into the stadium, and it's probably like a half mile out before you actually cross the finish line. And I saw people that were walking up the hill, and
Mhm.
I was like, you do this race for 6 miles, and then like the last half mile you walk up the hill. And I was like, I was boggled by that. I was like, that is just the most ridiculous thing. Um so is that something that you noticed in the runners that you were surrounding yourself with, or is that just the slow pokes in the back?
I did not see anybody walking. I think I was in a little bit faster wave, so I was uh um I saw some people. I passed a few people who had obviously hit a wall and they were jogging pretty slowly, but I didn't uh I didn't see anybody walking, but it was interesting. I thought it was a really cool event, and they the the booths I want to the booths after that I was telling you about this, Jeff. They hooked me up to these like electro sensors, and I put 1 pound weights in my hands, and I just did bicep curls with 1 pound weights, and I did 3 sets of 10 with 1 pound weights, and the electro sensors contracted the bicep and the tricep at the same time so that your muscles were working against each other. And my biceps were sore until Friday
Doing 1 pound curls.
doing 1 pound curls. And it was I even worked out. I worked out Friday and I was doing push-ups. I was like, I can still feel my arms absolutely dead from these 1 pound curls. It was the craziest thing. The company's called Body 20, and they said, yeah, you get if you do a 20-minute workout within this suit, you get the same results of 5 to 6 hours in the gym. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I did it, and then my biceps and triceps were sore for the 4 days after. And I was like, okay, maybe they've got something
They got
they've got
something.
something going.
Yeah.
Uh, it was pretty crazy, and I was like, I don't like. I was doing I did like a high interval workout, and I just like could not. I just could not do the upper body stuff this Friday. It was just so tough, and I think it was my muscles were just so shot from the curls that I did in this suit that were um it was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I'd wanna know what the actual like science is behind how they're like contracting your tricep muscle. And
I
like
think
does that break down your tricep? Like is that the same results?
I don't know that, but the science is that it sends electrical shock waves, like the just traditional stem, like low frequency stem, uh, or high frequency, one of the two. Um, but for anybody who's ever done like a E stem machine, that's what it feels like. So they put like the pads on your biceps and triceps, and then the idea is that the contraction in the bicep and the tricep leads you to work against your muscle during the movement. So I think you're working against, if you're doing a bicep curl, you're working against your tricep uh, instead of just working against gravity. So that's why that's why the weight, the 1 pound weight didn't really matter, is because when you're doing a bicep curl, you're contracting your bicep and you're expanding and relaxing your tricep. But with this machine, when you're doing the bicep curl, your tricep is contracting as well. So you're working against your tricep. And then in the tricep extensions, when your bicep would be relaxing, your bicep is contracting through this electrical stimulation. So you're working against your bicep. And it was just the craziest thing, being sore 3 or 4 days after.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that kind of stuff. That's sweet.
Hmm.
Cool, cool, cool. So finishing things up, how are you investing your time and your money this week? Anything different?
Yeah, I'm going to that lender presentation Monday and Tuesday. I originally wasn't going to go, but then I asked my boss if I could go because it's just a really good learning opportunity, because this company is just struggling so badly that it lends itself to just learning. from our end. I'm going to learn a lot how the other banks react and the dynamic of this failing company asking for a new loan. Pretty much, they're doing a refinancing, and they also blew a covenant, so they're just not doing well. So these Zoom calls that I've been on have been super interesting learning experiences. And this lender presentation will be on Tuesday. So I asked to go knowing that it would take up my Monday and Tuesday. Even though it's just a 2-3 hour thing. I think those 2-3 hours are going to be very valuable and a great learning experience. So that's in Indianapolis.
That's cool. You have the option to go to that kind of stuff, and that your work is willing to pay you for that.
Yeah, I'm again another thing that I'm very grateful for. So that's how I'm investing my time and money. Just same thing, just saving and I'm honestly spending money on a lot of these cool experiences, but it's enjoying spending the time with going to these dinners with people, and I guess going on dates too, that costs money. But that's something I'm actively pursuing. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
What about you?
That's good to hear. Nothing different. Yeah, I mean, had a good month in business, which allowed me to go on this weekend back to Colorado, and allowed me to take a couple days off, and invest both time and money into the bachelor party weekend this past weekend, and then also this upcoming weekend will be similar. And I wouldn't have been able to go had I not had the successes I did. So I was very happy that this opportunity has come up. And yeah, I think everything's just it's been going well. It's been going according to plan. Haven't really been able to do too much saving or too much direct investing into like an account, so to speak. But little by little, I think it's the first couple years that it's just a lot of energy is just spent on increasing your skill set. And
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm cool with that for sure.
One of the lunch, I had lunch with a guy on Saturday who's pretty much, he started his own real estate fund, and he was saying that like saving money in your early 20s is he called it a myth. I think, I don't know if myth is the right word, but his rationale is that you're at this time of life enjoying time, spending it with friends and things like that, but you're also at a time of life when you're making the least amount of money you will ever make. So my translation to that is $10. If you have $10 in your pocket, that $10 does not know if you originally had 100 and you spent 90, or you only had 20 and you now saved 50% of it. So like the percentage of what you saved isn't the important part. It's the money you have. So and then if you use that rationale over time, if you have the $10 in your pocket, it's not going to matter if you saved the $8 yesterday and now it's $10 today, or now you just have $10 today. Like that doesn't matter. The dollars you have are agnostic to the percentage at what you saved them and when you earned them. So that's something I've been thinking about in just terms of like living in New York City, but also I am saving a lot of money and having that experience, but it's also important to just enjoy this time and also have the perspective. It's like, okay, like there will be, as I continue to invest in myself and invest in relationships at work and invest in connections outside of work, there will be opportunities to where that $10 is not gonna matter. Or that $10 analogy that I'm talking about isn't
Yep.
necessarily. So
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And yeah, I mean, getting advice from people that are further down the road, I think that's
yeah,
help a lot.
yeah. Like it's pretty much like you don't need to penny pinch in your 20s because you want to be able to say you're saving X amount of money. Like the percentage doesn't matter. It's the dollar amount. And the dollar amount of earnings will continue to go up for us. And the the amount of money we're making now is very small to the amount of money we're making later. So you might as well smooth your consumption over time. So
I like that.
that's how you in terms of economics, that's how you maximize utility is you smooth consumption. Um, consumption today versus consumption tomorrow, and consumption tomorrow matters less to you today than consumption today does. But if you don't consume today and you consume more tomorrow, then the discounted factor for that consumption tomorrow decreases your maximum utility, or if you were to consume today, consume more today and less tomorrow. Anyway.
So consistent consumption.
Yes, that's how you maximize utility is you try to consistently consume, um and that's
Consistently consume and consistently produce both.
well, the thing is we only produce so little to what we will produce that it's even the consumption is this consumption smoothing is how we maximize utility now, knowing that the production, the majority of production will happen at age 30 and beyond.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That's the whole concept of the compound pounding of our lives. But yeah, other than that, I think that just about wraps up things for today. I got a busy afternoon. I know you do as well. And yeah, until next time, everyone.
Yeah.
Peace out. Do the boring work, and we'll see you guys at the top.
All right.
Peace.